Okay, I'm at the Lincoln Dinner 2024. Obviously, it's the Michigan GOP fundraiser, Macomb County fundraiser for our GOP. And how this happened, I'm not really sure, but I happen to be the Master of Ceremonies. Very excited. We have Mackay as our guest performer, and then we have Lara as our keynote speaker. So absolutely fantastic. I'm just thrilled. But I've had an opportunity to meet with Lara. She is amazing. She's so sweet, so down to earth, just like real people, like really good salt of the earth people, which I would have expected that, being from a Trump family, just that down to earth, real deal, says it the way it is. So we're planning on raising a whole lot of money tonight, where our goal, obviously, is to get those, grassroots conservative mega patriots candidates seated. This is, it's a battle to save our country, and our president can't do it alone. We need those conservative voices, seated as our elected officials, and we got to fight this battle together. So it's very exciting, very exciting.
What brings you here? Take turns.
Lara Trump.
Yeah.
And we need to get behind Lara and all of our constituents, not only in Macomb County, but in the state of Michigan. And we need to get out and be poll workers. I know I'm doing it. I'm glad to do it.
So we're here to support the entire Trump family. We feel so grateful that she came to Macomb County. We're ready to get out and work. We're ready to sign up poll workers, and we're so excited. We're really hoping that we see more elected officials that jump on board, especially our incumbents, that are going to lead us to a victory in November.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Mark for the beautiful rendition. We're going to be seeing him again. Will the press please go back there? Appreciate it. Anyway, I want to welcome each and every one of you for participating in this event. It's very important. Macomb County is critical, and we must win bigger than ever before. We're the only large red county in Michigan. Okay? All blue counties are blue. And in 2016, we overcame their losses and won for Trump in 2016. We got to do it again. They have to improve their numbers, or all have to, every county, but Macomb has to kill it in 2024, and we're going to do it. I would like to introduce you to our Master of Ceremonies, Sandy Bauer. Sandy Bauer is a volunteer CEO for Veterans Returning Home, and she does a marvelous job. She's well known by many of you, and that's a heck of an organization, and they take care of our homeless vets, and we owe them big time. And Sandy loves it, and she works hard at it, but I'd like to introduce to you Sandy Bauer.
Bigger than me. Okay, so I think that after that amazing rendition of the national anthem, I think at this point I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our veterans in the house. If you guys could please stand, all of our veterans that served. I feel like I speak for us all, guys, when I say you are our heroes. Although our country is in trouble, it's still the greatest country in the world. We owe all thanks to you. May God bless you, and thank you for giving us our freedoms. Thank you. With that, where's Anthony? Come on up, Anthony. Anthony is one of our veterans from Vets Returning Home, and I thought it was a great time for him to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Okay. Well, let's just jump into it. First, I have to say exactly how thrilled I am to be here tonight. Actually, to share a stage with the fabulous Mark Mackay. That's incredible. Thank you. And then the powerhouse patriot, Lara Trump. We all can't wait to hear what she has to say. Amazing, amazing. But equally amazing is all of you here in this house. Your presence shines the light on your commitment as a true grassroots mega patriot. For 9 years, we've been fighting together to help drain the swamp. We've been sabotaged, backstabbed, lied to, and let's not forget, infiltrated. And just for the record, probably infiltrated tonight, but if anybody, speaks out against any of our speakers or anything, you will be dealt with swiftly. We're not going to tolerate it. We all know that the biggest challenge that we've faced, our biggest fight, is with the rhinos. They're the ones that we have the biggest problems with. And yet we prevail. I'm proud to have had the privilege to fight along with you these past 9 years. And I would like to quote our favorite president. We will not back down, we will never quit, and we do not comply. Amen. My fearless warriors, may God bless you and keep you all safe. Thank you so much. Thank you. I have a really tight schedule up here, so I just want a quick recognition of some of the special diplomats and guests that we have in the house tonight. And if I miss anybody, I'm doing a closing statement, so I'll catch up on the back end, so don't beat me up too much. Damasceno, the Damascenos. There we go. Mr. and Mrs. Damasceno came in all the way from Florida. We have Ron Powers, Republican Party co-chair, came all the way from Oregon. That's incredible. Linda Pago, our Michigan Republican Party co-chair, thank you. Dr. Basuito, Wayne State University Board of Governors, thank you. My grandchild's going to be going there, so I am happy that I know someone there. So, your attendance tonight is like a line in the sand, clearly stating your commitment to this MAGA movement. We understand, especially for our elected officials, that can make you a target, and it's not easy. And I just want you to know that we appreciate your courage. We recognize the struggles, and for those in office, we thank you for upholding your oath. So, thank you very much. I fully intended to recognize by name those officials that are not here. But then I realized that it was ridiculously long. Like, you would have been asleep at the table. Most don't want to be seen here. You know, they know that if they're with the MAGA Patriots, they're going to be targeted from the establishment, and then they kind of try to ride both sides of the fence, stay neutral, okay? And that doesn't work for us. You know, we need to watch their voting record. We've seen some of their lies, and all I can say is shame on them. Shame on them. This room is full of fearless warriors. We don't have to hide. Someday they will be asked, what did you know and when did you know it? They'll be held accountable. I intended to introduce the candidates, all right? And I had it all prepared. And in the very last minute, it was brought to my attention that some could perceive that I was endorsing, or that we were endorsing candidates. And I guess that's not allowed. So I could see that like turning into 34 felonies, and I would be convicted, you know? I don't look good in orange. No. So, thank you. That was good. Threw me off a minute though. So, I would like to make an important point though, even though I can't name names. There is one particular seat that steps out at me. This is something that's burning in my heart. As we know, all of our systems have been compromised. All of them, from the White House all the way down to our local school boards and everything in between. All of the, you know, the letters, the FBI, the DOJ, all the three letters, they're all compromised. Please don't think for 1 second that our police forces are exempt. Right. They're not. They too have been compromised, and I'm not trying to draw a line in the sand with the blue line. That's not it. I'm saying our common sense tells us everything is compromised. They are too. So with that said, we have to understand that, you know, we're behind enemy lines here in Michigan, and Whitmer is frightening at the helm. That scares me. We know things will get worse before they get better. They're gonna get better, but we're still fighting, so it's gonna get worse before it gets better. When Whitmer gives those orders, it will not be to protect us. It will not be in our best interest. We need a constitutional sheriff. One that understands our rights, and one that will be there to defend us. We're approaching the final battle, and it's time, my friends, It's time to brace for impact. I'm going to repeat that. It's time to brace for impact. Our beloved president was found guilty on ridiculous charges that should never even have been brought. We see what's happening. We're in the final battle. Brace for impact. Thank you. Okay, now for the invocation. It is my honor to introduce Reverend and now recently Dr. Toma. Congratulations on that. He has proven himself as a fearless patriot. Time and time again, he has shown us his strong stand in this fight between good and evil. And thank you, Reverend Toma.
Last time I came to an event here in Macomb and was asked to say anything. A very liberal rag, Mother Jones, wrote a nice little hit piece on me. So when I was asked again, when Lois called and said, would you be willing to come and speak again? You know, at first I thought, absolutely. Absolutely. Although I will prepare my words a little more than I had the previous time. So if you would, bow your heads and we will pray. Almighty and most gracious Father, you have promised by your holy word to be ever near your faithful people. Certain of this, we know our needs are never hidden and that your immeasurable love for a world lost in sin moved you to send your only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, that he would venture into the oblivion of the cross and rise from the grave as conqueror over sin, death, and hell, all to win our rescue. We pray in his name, and so hear our prayer this night. We need you. The onslaught of this world's evil is feverish. It demands our complicity. It demands our unbridled allegiance. It demands our intemperate tolerance of all of its devices and its deeds. Your Son warned us this would happen. The Democrat Party, an agent of this world, is more than a demonstration. It's openly steeped in this tarry villainy. Indeed, it is the world's servant. There's no question. It stands on a platform of planks of disregard for your moral law, your natural law, beliefs that allow for a child's gender to be surgically and permanently altered, opinions that unborn children are a flushable bother right up to and after birth. And the list of atrocities, insanity goes on, according to the never-emptying wellspring of sin's devilish creativity. The government all but opening the gates to hordes of dangerous illegal immigrants, our culture worshiping a professional football player who chokes his pregnant girlfriend, and another who prattles on a stage intoxicated. That same culture doxes and cancels a Christian player for his moral uprightness. Our universities fostering anti-Semitism, our schools indoctrinating children, insisting there are an indefinite number of genders, and even convincing these kids they can be completely different species. Men and women's sports and locker rooms and so much more. Merciful God, do not stand idly by. As a servant in your church, I'm asking, please help us. According to your good and gracious will, please unify and steady this party to be a bronze wall against this devilry. The platform is good. Where it isn't, fix it, and then reinforce and sustain us. Most importantly, unify us. Make this party your agent for good. Clad her with all that is necessary for preserving what is noble and right and true. Use this party and her servants to bring wisdom and healing to our land, most especially through President Trump. As is my daily plea, O Lord, and now let it be this gatherings as well, let the weak need among us be few, and the courageous be plentiful. Be with the men and women who lead the Republican Party in this county, state, and nation. Guard their hearts and minds. Urge them toward faithfulness to the offices you have given them. They are not rulers. They are not the privileged elite. They are servants. As such, equip us, the unelected, the ones they serve, with the viscera for supporting the ones who do well and correcting or removing the ones who don't. In this, let us be found partnering, supporting, engaging, and working together for better days. Finally, and of course, bless the food we will receive tonight. Bless the fellowship that adorns it. All of it comes from the hand of a gracious God. Trusting in your mercy, all these things we submit to you through the merits and mediation of Jesus Christ, the only way of salvation, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever. Amen.
We're on. How we doing out there, everybody, so far? All right, so at every show I've played around the United States, whether we were playing to 5 people or 50,000 people, I always sing this song, and I always tell everybody that it's my favorite singer of all time, but more importantly, it's a great song, and everybody has to sing along. And we felt that tonight would be an even more special moment for it, so here goes a great one. Y'all have to sing at the top of your lungs. We move into the great part of the program here. You ready? Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. Sing, Danny. You could stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. I'm gonna stand my ground. I won't be turned around. You ready? And I keep this world from dragging me down, but I stand my ground. And I won't back down. And everybody said, that was pathetic. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I won't back down. No, I won't back down.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I would like to thank the Reverend. That was beautiful too. Thank you so much. Now, I was going to read this short bio, but then I thought, come on, we all know exactly who she is. We study her and her entire family. So, the one that we have all been waiting for, our fearless fellow warrior, Lara Trump.
Loud as you guys got, here we go. 3, 4, hey, baby. There ain't no easy way out. Hey, I won't back down. No, I won't back down.
Next time, just give me the music and I'll hit it up here. We don't even need to talk, because you guys know I like to sing. How we doing tonight? I love my Michiganders. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I'm gonna do a quick poll before we get started. Who in here voted for Donald Trump in 2016? Okay. Who in here voted in 2020 for Donald Trump? Who is ready to send Donald Trump back to the White House? Yes. All right, then I can stay here. You guys know this is the county that we have to win. This is the county that won the state of Michigan in 2016 for Donald Trump, and I got news for everybody here. We are winning Michigan again in 2024. Yes. So there's so much we could talk about. My God, they haven't given us a lot lately, have they? Oh my gosh. Look around this country, look around the world. And the bad news is I got limited time because I have a flight to catch to go back to New York, and then I'll be back here in Michigan on Friday again. So, yeah, I'm telling you, we're winning this state. We are leaving nothing to chance. Donald Trump will be here on Saturday. I think you guys know that in Michigan. Yeah. So I will be back here on Friday to make sure that there is no cheating in this upcoming election. So let me start very quickly and tell you a little bit about how I became the co-chair of the RNC. I got a new title a couple of months ago. Yeah, thank you. A title I never really anticipated, I'll be very honest. A title that up until about, I'm gonna say 5 months ago, wasn't even on my radar as something that I would be doing. And then I got a call. And some of you may know I have a very persuasive, shall we say, father-in-law. And he called me and he said, I really think you should run for this, and I think this is a position where we need you. And I said, no, I think you got me wrong. I've got so many things I'm doing. I've got no time for this. I've got 2 young kids. And then he said, I mean, everybody wants it. Everybody wants this. If you don't want to do it, I don't want to force you. So think about it, honey, think about it. No pressure, everybody wants it. It's perfect, you would be the best one. I'm like, ah. A day later, I got a call back. And I said, okay. I thought about it. And I thought about what's at stake in this upcoming election. And I thought about my 2 kids, Luke and Carolina, who are 4 and 6 years old. And I thought about the kind of country that I want to ensure that they grow up in. I want them to live in the same America that I got to grow up in, that so many of you here tonight got to grow up in as well. Yeah. And I said, I know it's a heavy lift, coming into a position with 8 months to go, which is what they gave me, 8 months, but nothing could be more important than this election right now in 2024. We've heard freedom is only 1 generation away from extinction, and we feel it right now. It's palpable across this country. Because you look around, look at what they're trying to do to Donald Trump. Look at the way that they have treated this man, who, by the way, don't forget, didn't need to run for president of the United States. This is a man who was beloved by the media, by Hollywood, by everybody everywhere, until when? Until the day he came down the golden escalator to announce he was running for president as a Republican. And then he had a target on him. And they thought they were going to take him out that first month. Remember that? There were 17 candidates, if you think back to 2015, who were running in that Republican primary. And they said, oh, we'll take Donald Trump out. He talked about the border. People don't want to hear about the border. We'll take him out with that. And then look at what happened. One by one, every single one of those candidates, these are people who've been in politics their whole life. I think Ted Cruz was captain of the debate team in college. These are people who he should never have had a chance against, yet you saw what happened. And he became our nominee, and he became president of the United States. But he did something while he was in the White House that they didn't like much in the swamp. First of all, what did he do? He exposed a whole lot of them in the swamp. He exposed the mainstream media, right? They didn't like that very much either. And he kept his promises that he made while he was running for president. You can't do that as a politician. Then what are you going to run on for your next term? You know how that all works, right? He kept his promises in such a way that this country was firing on all cylinders. We had the lowest unemployment in this country for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, women since World War II under Donald Trump's leadership. You saw manufacturing coming back to this country. Here in Michigan, you saw that coming back to this state. You saw that instead of wars breaking out around the world, like everybody suggested would happen when Donald Trump became president, we had peace agreements signed in the Middle East. 2 meetings with Kim Jong-un of North Korea to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula. You saw trade agreements with Mexico, with Canada, with China. You saw that people understood with Donald Trump as the leader of this country and the leader of the free world, that when he said something, he meant it. They didn't even try. It was peace through strength with Donald Trump. He did things that presidents before him said they would do and never did, like moving the American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, like recognizing the Golan Heights for Israel. Israel never had a better ally than Donald Trump in that White House, and we will be allies again with Israel in a way we should when Donald Trump is back there. But they didn't like that. And they said, oh my gosh, this guy's doing all the things he said he would do. The American people are starting to actually be successful and save money, be able to go on vacations. We actually secured our southern border. These are things we can't see happen anymore. He stands to expose so much more of the rot in Washington, D.C. We got to get him out. You know what? Let's impeach him. That'll take Donald Trump out. Impeachment number 1, impeachment number 2. He won't even try to run again for president, they said. But then, guess what he did? He decided to run for president again. They said, what are we going to do with this guy? I know what we'll do. We'll indict him. 1 indictment, and that's it. The American people are going to be done with him. And his poll numbers went up. We'll do another indictment on Donald Trump. And his poll numbers went up. We'll do something that'll definitely take him out. We'll indict him, and we'll make sure there's a mugshot of Donald Trump out there. The greatest mugshot in the history of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. And the mugshot came out, and something changed. Because people in this country saw that and they said, wait a minute, there's a mugshot of this guy out there. In some way, I kind of see myself in Donald Trump. The same system that has been working against me and my family, that I feel like hasn't been working on my behalf, is working against this guy. I don't know, I might think about going to vote for him, and I never would have thought of that before. Then they have indictment number 4, and then they said, you know what, let's lower the boom on him. Let's make sure that we can call him a convicted felon. Let's give him 34 felony counts. And his poll numbers went up, and in 48 hours, we raised $70 million. And the best part of that number, folks, I'm going to tell you really quickly, 30% of that money from people who had never once in their life given to Donald Trump's campaign. 30%. And I think when it all balanced out, the average donation was somewhere around $70. So here's what we know. When you donate even $1 to a political campaign, you are literally bought in. You are going out to vote for that person. So thank you, Democrats, for giving us more voters on our side. We will take it. Thank you. So we know he's got the momentum behind him, right? Because I mean, let's look at the other side. It is a really sad showing. I don't know what happened over there at that D-Day celebration in Normandy. Bless his heart, as we say in North Carolina, where I come from, for Joe Biden. Bless his little heart. And I know in Michigan, y'all even know what that means. We got a guy who seemingly wants to destroy America, it seems like on all fronts. Every decision Joe Biden has made has worked against this country. They want us to believe that in 2020, 81 million people were so inspired by this guy who campaigned out of a basement, couldn't really string 3 sentences together then. Now it's down to 1 sentence. Hard to get that one from Joe Biden coherently. That 81 million people were so inspired by him that they came out in historic numbers and voted for him, and literally no one believes it. Right? Right. We all know in this room that 2020 can never, ever happen again. Ever. And so when I got to the RNC and I said, okay, we got 8 months to win this election, what are our top priorities? How do we do this? Because we know that we have the momentum on our side. You look at every poll out there, Donald Trump is beating Joe Biden. State-to-state matchups around the country, he's beating Joe Biden everywhere it matters. But how do we prevent the cheating? Because we know it happens, right? So my 2 priorities when I became co-chair of the RNC, alongside our chairman, Michael Whatley, were get out the vote and protect the ballot. Those are the 2 things we are focused on right now. So we know Donald Trump's going to inspire people to get out and vote, right? That he's got us covered there. Whenever we talk about it with him, he said, I'll tell you what, I'll get him out. You protect it. And we're like, okay, that's enough for us. So how are we going to do that? I'm just going to let you guys in on a little bit of the information inside in terms of what we are doing, because truly nothing is more important. So we have an entire election integrity team at the RNC. If you come to that office in Washington, D.C., the bulk of the people in our office are part of that election integrity team. Their sole focus every single day is ensuring that we have free, fair, and transparent elections. And everyone, Republican, Democrat, or Independent, should want that, right? So how are we going to do that? We have an entire system. Michael Whatley and I have pledged 100,000 volunteers across this country by election day to work as poll watchers, poll workers, which I'm going to tell you guys, we could not train poll workers from the RNC for 40 years. There was a consent decree placed upon the RNC 40 years ago that said we could not train people to work in these polling locations. The judge who issued that consent decree passed away last year. The consent decree was lifted, and now we from the RNC can train people to work in these polling locations, and we're doing it. We are going to have lawyers at every polling location across this country to ensure that at a moment's notice, if they say anything going awry, they can strike right then. We're not waiting days, weeks, months. We're not waiting to figure it out. We will deal with it that moment. Every state will have a war room where we can call in any issues as well in a moment's notice. They will be handling those. We're going to have people working in the tabulation centers where the mail-in ballots come in as well. We are going to do something on a massive scale that was exactly the model used by Michael Whatley, our chairman now at the RNC, who was the chair in North Carolina in 2020. If you go back and look, North Carolina was one of the few states where you didn't have massive questions about voter fraud. Let me just tell you, if you guys go out to dinner with any of your friends who might be leaning on the other side of the political aisle, and I know maybe you're like, we don't have them. If you do, and they say to you, yeah, but there was no proof of the 2020 election being stolen. Let me tell you something. The lawsuits that we had out after that election to rectify it were not thrown out based on merit. It was all thrown out based on clerical errors. So you can tell your friends that. If there was no, CNN tried to get me on this one recently. There were clerical errors. They were not thrown out based on merit. So we want to ensure that we are training people to do all of these jobs, and we are starting Friday here in the state of Michigan. So Michael Watley and I will be in Lansing on Friday. We're going to have a huge election integrity training. We're going to kick it off. And we're training people all across this country. If anyone wants to be part of that team, the website is protectthevote.com. I'll say it again, protectthevote.com. If you guys know any attorneys, you don't have to be specialized in election law. We will train you in terms of what you need to know to go into these polling locations. We are also going to be doing something from the RNC that we have never done before. If they do it on the other side, so can we. Legal ballot harvesting everywhere in this country we possibly can. We can leave nothing to chance, ladies and gentlemen. We know how they play the game on the other side, but we're very focused on what we have to do in order to win this one. And I think back to 2020 often, and I would tell you guys, no one put more of their blood, sweat, tears, and soul into winning that election than those of us in the Trump family. And I will tell you, it was a very, very tough time post-election, in the months after that, having to deal with everything that happened. It was tough. But when I got a little distance from it, and I started to really look at it, what I realized is that sometimes things don't happen in our time. They happen in God's time. And we can feel what's going on right now in this country. This is not about Republican versus Democrat, left versus right anymore. It's about good versus evil. That's where we are in this country. And I believe that the reason we are here right now, I believe the reason Donald Trump has been attacked in the way he has, that they're literally using communist tactics, third world tactics, against a political opponent in order to interfere in an election, is because people needed to have their eyes opened. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I will tell you, they have awakened a beast in the American citizens right now in our country. People are not asleep anymore. They're awake. The Democrats are losing their minds on the other side, because look at recent polling. Look at, in 2020, Donald Trump won 8% of the black vote in this country. Right now, he's polling at 23%. Head-to-head matchup with Joe Biden with Hispanic voters. Joe Biden gets 40%, Donald Trump 46%. Here's the demographic you never thought you would hear voting for Republicans en masse. If the election were held today and it were only 18 to 24-year-olds voting, Donald Trump would win the election. Everybody gets it. Everybody sees what's going on, and everyone understands what is at stake. But it's going to take all of us in this room and in this country to win this election. I can promise you from the RNC, we are going to do our part to ensure integrity in this election. We are doing everything possible. We have 91 lawsuits out right now in 25 different states in order to make it harder to cheat and easier to vote. We here in Michigan are pushing back on your Secretary of State, saying you better clean up the voter rolls, because you have 92,000 inactive voters on there, and we want them off those voter rolls. I can guarantee you, we have our eye on everything. The drop boxes they do in Pennsylvania, they're trying to take them out to Wisconsin as well. We're working as hard as we humanly can, but we need you guys to help us as well. So here's what I want to ask you, and here's what I want to tell you too. As Republicans, we traditionally like to go out and vote on Election Day. And here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Take a look at early voting. Our goals right now are to swamp the vote. We need to make it too big to rig. And how do we do that? We need people getting out, and we need them voting early. And then we need those people taking somebody from the day they vote all the way up every day to election day and ensuring that your neighbor, your friends, your family, heck, your dentist, take them all, I don't care. They're voting for Donald Trump, take them to the poll, buy them a sandwich afterwards. We know the Democrats love to do that. Whatever you need to do, get them to vote. Because once you get your vote banked, then you don't have to worry about it. We are making sure your vote is counted. But think about what we need to do. Once we know we don't have to spend resources on those people who have already voted, then we can really target the people that we need to actually get back in there and make sure they vote. Our money can go farther. We can focus on the people that we actually need to move and not worry about it. Look around at different elections. Look at Carrie Lake likely would have won her election in Arizona had it not been for one polling location in a very Republican precinct that crashed on election day. All the people were wrapped around the block trying to get in there. They couldn't go vote, so their votes actually never got banked in there. They never got counted. She maybe would have won that election had that not happened. That was on election day. Nevada, a similar situation. You had an ice storm that, caused a lot of people not to be able to go out and vote. My point is life happens. Get your vote in. We want you to vote as early and in whatever way you can, because we've got the rest. We are watching out for it, and then we want you working from that day all the way up to election day to ensure Donald Trump will be victorious. Yeah. And not only that, we're gonna get him in there, and then I get it. I want one day of voting, I want voter ID, and I want paper ballots. That's the goal. We can get back there, but we gotta play the hand we're dealt right now. We've got to win this election. So we're gonna win this one. We're gonna put Donald Trump back in the White House. We're gonna expand our lead in the House, and we're gonna take back the Senate, and then we can change that. I gotta watch my time, because I think I've gotta go soon. I could stay here all night and talk to you guys. But truly, here's what I wanna say. I wanna say thank you. Thank you for everything that you guys have done. Thank you for supporting my father-in-law. Thank you for fighting for this country. Thank you for your prayers. Prayers matter, prayers work. Thank you. Everywhere I've gone across this country, people come up to me and they say, we're praying for you, praying for your family, we're praying for your father-in-law. God is in this election with us, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you. Continue doing that. We've got to pray for this country. But I really want to let you know that this fight is so much bigger than all of us here. And it's bigger than my father-in-law. You heard him come out and say that right after the verdict came down in that crooked clown show of a court down in downtown Manhattan. He said, it's my honor to do this, because he's standing in the gap right now. Amen. He's holding the line for us so that we can make it to November 5th, so that we can save this country. And I want you to know, from the Trump family, we never got into this for 4 years or 8 years. We are in this forever to save America. We will be here by your side, fighting for this country, because it is about the future generations. This is our chance. This is where we make our stand. And we don't do it like they do on the other side, burning down police precincts or looting small businesses. We speak with our vote, and you will hear our voices loud and clear come November 5th of this year. So listen, it's an honor to be here with you guys tonight. It is truly an honor to be the co-chair of the RNC. Again, a title I never thought I would have, but I'm humbled and I'm honored every day. And I can tell you something, I'm working my butt off, and so is Michael Whatley, and so is Donald Trump. We're leaving nothing to chance. And just before I go, I said I'm doing this for my kids, and I really mean it, but it's hard. It's hard when you're a mom. Well, I mean, no offense, guys, but when moms leave, man, the ship goes down real quick, right? So, I'll check in on with my husband in a few minutes. My kids, of course, get upset because I have to travel a lot right now. And one day I know they will look back and they will say, wow, I'm really proud of Mom. Mom did that for me. But I'll be honest with you, I had to bribe them right now. So my kids say, well, Mom, where are you going? And I always tell them, I'm going to make sure that Grandpa becomes president again. They were so young. Both of my kids were born while my father-in-law was in the White House. By the way, only Secret Service protectee to ever give birth. You're looking at her on stage right now, under their protection. That's true. Yeah. But it's very hard for them to understand why I'm traveling, and I say, well, I want to make sure that Grandpa becomes president again. And they're upset about it. Truth be told, we live during the school year in Florida, and we're like 2 hours away from Disney World. I have not taken them to Disney World. But when Grandpa wins on November 6th, I'm gonna have to take my kids to Disney World. And that's the bribe, that's the deal we made. And so every day, like when I come back tomorrow morning, they're gonna say, did Grandpa win? Every time I go away, they think that's the election. But I'm gonna fight for every single American. I'm fighting for my kids. We're working hard. We're gonna do it. And I want everybody in this room to just get ready. Y'all remember that feeling on November 8th, 2016, watching the results come in for Donald Trump. Donald Trump wins North Carolina. Donald Trump wins Florida. Donald Trump wins Michigan. Get ready for that feeling, because we are going to do it again. And my goal this time is we're not waiting until 3 o'clock in the morning. Everybody in this room, I want y'all getting a good night's sleep that night. We're going to shut it down at 11 p.m. and know for sure Donald Trump is the next president of the United States. Thank you guys. God bless you. I love you, Michigan. We'll see you a lot. Let's go win. Thank you guys. We won't back down, folks.
Come here. You know, this lady's something else. And I hope you all will support Veterans Returning Home and this lady. She's a volunteer, and she does the work there. I can't even spend all night talking about this lady, but she needs support. She's fantastic, and we love her here. Thank you, Sandy. Also, over here we have, if you want to take pictures naturally, over here we have time. So don't go rushing out, enjoy each other's company. And I also, I want to thank Kenneth family. This hall is absolutely wonderful. What'd you think of this dinner? I mean, they said, hey, we're going to put on a heck of a dinner, and I'll tell you what it was. I'm not going to eat till Tuesday or next week, I think. But anyway, they did a wonderful job. We really appreciate them. We appreciate every one of you. And thank you for being here, and enjoy yourself. I think the cash bar's still open. Have a good time, and thank you so much for being here.